So here we are. It's episode 23 of the Tennessee Titans UK Fans podcast. Once again, I'm joined by James and David. Guys, thanks for joining me. So
Hello.
we have something to talk about. How exciting! So there's been some developments in the world of the Titans. So before I let you two talk, because I know James has got an awful lot to say. He's been very vocal on the Facebook page this week, dying to have a rant. So I'm going to just talk through what's been going on. So no official announcement yet, but in the NFL, it seems the broadcasters seem to announce the news before the teams do these days, which I find quite weird. But it would appear Robert Salah is going to be the new Titans head coach. So I'm going to go through the record here. So we'll just go through his coaching career, and then I'll let you two, especially James, have a good old rant about the head coach search that's been going on. So we'll just quickly look through what he's been doing. So he entered the NFL in 2005 with the Houston Texans as a defensive intern assistant. He coached at the Seattle Seahawks, where he experienced winning the Super Bowl. So he's got that on his record. He was then defensive coordinator at the 49ers for 3 years. Again, 2019, they reached the Super Bowl. But then he had his first head coach experience at the New York Jets. First season, I don't think this is backwards or not, because it's probably American. They said a 4-13 record, missed out in the playoffs. 7-10 record, missed out in the playoffs. 7-10 record, missed out in the playoffs. And then his last season, he had a 2-3 record before he was fired. Then he returned to the 49ers. But now he's, by the looks of it, he's going to get a 5-year deal to coach the Titans. So I think there was wasn't massive surprise that he was given the coach's job. We all thought Nagy was going to get it. I thought Mike McCarthy was going to sneak and get it. So I will leave it to you guys. What do you guys think of this appointment? Is it good, bad? Are we excited? What's going on?
Well, I'll start because James has a lot to say, so get some talking first. I mean, I always said that we needed a head coach that had some experience of being a head coach, and he fits the bill. Obviously, his record got progressively worse before he was fired, so that's a downside. And you really would have preferred someone who maybe had a proven winning record at some point in their career, head coaching career, but he didn't. Um, Yeah, the Jets unfortunately progressively got worse under his manager or his coaching sprint. But the defense actually got better, which is a positive. So that's a reasonable thing for him to, anyway. He was a defensive coordinator before with the 49ers, and he was quite successful, and they rehired him afterwards, which proves that he did a good job because they wanted him back. They would have never taken him back if he was unpopular with the players, etc. He's supposed to be very popular with players, which is a good thing because if players like the head coach, they're likely to do more for him than if they felt they were sub a player or had no interest in them. What else did I put down of interest? Um,
I'm glad you've got
no, I
notes.
think
So I
that's
left
about
mine
it. I
at
mean,
work.
yeah. I would say. I mean, he's probably wasn't my first choice, but I'm 100% behind him. I think, he has to prove that he can't do the job, and as far as I'm concerned, he can do the job, and hopefully the Titans will do very successfully under him. I think he's going to call the defensive play. Someone said I heard
Mm.
somewhere, which is quite good because he's a defensive-minded coach. Obviously, he needs a good offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I mean, I was the two things I set out from the very beginning of the whole process of getting a head coach was I want someone with experience that knows the head coaching role. Um, but I also want a player's coach. And this is very much me not being able to let go of Vrabel. And like emotionally, I just loved Vrabel. I don't think he should have ever been fired. But the side of it, it's happened, it's done. We've got to move on from that. And so I really wanted someone that kind of fit the bill like Vrabel, who was a player's coach. He just got players playing. He just people like to be around him. And I don't know if any of you have seen, but they do the Hard Knocks series, and they did one of the Jets, and Salah came across so well in it, and he just seemed that players' coach. Players just loved him. He had banter with all the players. He just seemed to galvanize everybody, even that stage when I think the biggest problem with the Jets or his record at the Jets was that he didn't have many good QBs, to be fair. And when he had Rodgers got injured first game, and that was their kind of go big or go home year. And I think that just let them down, and it just capitulated from then onwards. So I'm not too fussed about his record. I'm more fussed about him as a person. I feel we either went for me, it was Mike McCarthy. That was the person who I wanted. He has the kind of bit of both. He's got the players coach and he's also got the experience. But if we're going to go for someone that's got a player who's got the experience but is more about the players coach, then Salah's the one for me. He's got that personality that can really galvanize the team. And I'm happy about it. I'm really happy about it. There was a good point in the period. I think it was just before he started, the day before, the evening before. I just had this feeling we are going to go with Nagy, and it was the whole buddy hire system we had before. We're trying to get away from it. Then it seemed to be everything just seemed to be about this Nagy thing, and there's a lot of negative comments going around, which I kind of got drawn into with the whole. The Titans have already picked the head coach. They picked the head coach months ago. They're just doing this to pull the wool over our eyes. And then it's basically about they knew who they do. We're just going to interview everybody and say, we interviewed everybody. And in the end, we decided Nagy was the main person. When it came down to the final two we ended up having, it was a bit of a disappointment that Nagy was there. And I'm like, it just seems like it's going to be him. And then after the hire, I heard stuff about Amy and Brinker coming in and them having to tell Borgazoni to hire Salah because obviously he was a Nagy man. However, give it a couple more hours, and a new reports come out that actually Salah came in and just won over Borgazoni, and actually Borgazoni was the one that made that call, which I'm really happy about. Apparently, it was he just won over everybody, and it was his the whole plan for Cam, his plan for the defense, plan for the head coach, is everything. He just won over everybody. The one thing I'm very excited about with him is his connections with other coaches, and I feel like we could get another good offensive coach as well. A very good offensive coach in there. I know we were hoping for Mike McDaniel, but he seems to have gone to the Chargers. However, I'm hearing the Giants' old head coach, Bagdol, Bagwell, something like that.
yeah, Brian DeBoll.
Yeah, so apparently if he doesn't take the Bills head coach role, he is pretty much nailed on for offensive coordinator, which would be amazing. He said at the very beginning when the draft he wanted Cam as well. So he's obviously very high up on Cam, and he was a very good offensive coordinator. So hopefully that could be a little good connection there. I'm done.
Well,
I didn't have much to rant because it all kind of played out really nicely in the end, and it actually got quite exciting. I think it
kind of all boiled over and ended.
Yeah. I built up myself into a nice little big rant. And that night, I woke up probably about 3 times in the night, checking my phone, checking Twitter, checking everything to see what was going on. And no word of a lie, about 3 o'clock in the morning, I had a dream that I woke up and Matt Nagy was standing looking at me while I was sleeping. And I was like, and then I woke up and I was like, oh my God, that's a sign. He's just been hired, isn't he? And I went on, and we had hired Salah.
We wouldn't have got a word in edgeways if Nagy got the job. Just half an hour of James just talking away.
Yeah, I wasn't that high up on Nagy.
Well, that's it. It's good to see that, I know we try to interview everyone, and they've obviously thought about it. And Nagy would have been the easy hire. It would have been the easy one to say, well, I know the guy, and they could have brought him in. But, I mean, I think Salah. I mean, I know everyone's saying, he's got this connection with the players, and I've seen. I haven't watched the Hard Knocks program with him on the Jets, but I've seen clips and they keep showing stuff where he seems like he's a very motivational person when he talks, and he seems like he's got that connection with the players. So you kind of hope that's going to get him over the edge. But I just hope he just kind of he's got that coaching ability as well. I mean, he's taken on the Titans with hopefully a franchise quarterback. We're moving into a new stadium. We've got a bit of money to spend, so there's a lot going on here, and he's got to get it right. And there's a lot going on. So I hope, like you say, he gets the defensive coaching appointments correct. Every time you look at Twitter or anywhere else, there's always a different name being mentioned, isn't there? There's always somebody, and then somebody's off the board because they've gone elsewhere. But I kind of hope he moves fast to get the right people in. Now I know it's a long time till the season starts now, but they've got to start. They'll be thinking about the draft already. They'll be thinking about who they want to bring in. They'll be thinking of where they're going to spend the money. So it's exciting times for the Titans. But we've been saying that for a few years now, haven't we? It's exciting times. Every time we say it, it goes wrong, doesn't it? So, are you thinking that this is the right hire and this is going to really propel us now? Do you think is next season? I know obviously we're going to be in rebuild again next year, but do we think that this is actually going to be a proper rebuild now? Are we going to get this right? Will he see out his 5-year contract, or will he go 6 months in? So, do you think? Yeah, give me more on what you guys think of. Is that where is the franchise going? Is it going in the right direction?
Well, yeah. One thing that really is important is free agency and the draft. Again, they've got the Titans, in order not to go through a bad season or poorish season, have got to nail that. Get some right players who are going to be the building blocks. It's stupid to expect them to be, go from where the Patriots were last season to, 13 wins. But if they get a good wide receiver, some good cornerbacks and an edge rusher, then they're going the right way. And if they perform next season, there's no, reason really why they're at least going to get to 8 wins. Because, we don't have to
8 man
prove.
8.
Well, we don't know. We don't really have to improve that much. I mean, Cam has to play is better than he has so far, but he improved through the season. If he carries on the same rate, then that's good for us. And the offensive line should be more stable than it was last season, or the last 4 years, when we've had virtually a different lineup every season. Hopefully, we're going to start with at least 3, and maybe, look, he's going to start on maybe Jay to guard instead. I don't know, but at least we're going to be starting with the same crew, and hopefully that's going to improve us as well going forward.
Yeah, I think the O-line, the consistency of having the same players there is key. We need, I think the Latham could be moved to right guard. He doesn't seem quick enough to be right guard. And then we need to be looking for a kind of a cornerstone piece in the offensive line again. But if we get a relatively good right tackle, we could be okay. And like I say, if you've got the basis of that offensive line, I see it shouldn't be a problem. As I said, David said, Cam's got to improve, definitely. And I think if we get the right offensive coordinator, the things with the people we've been linked with, say Bagdol, what his name is, the old Giants head coach, Mike McDaniel, them sort of people, Cliff Kingsbury, I'm hearing other offensive coordinators that are very highly regarded. There's a good chance they could do well and end up using it as a cornerstone to go and get a head coach job. So we've got to think of that situation. But if we can get a good year out of a really good offensive coordinator, that could then be the elevation for Cam. I think that's great. I think Vrabel went through 2. We couldn't hold on to an offensive coordinator at the beginning. We were just firing through them because they were getting taken off other places. What was it? LaFleur went.
Arthur Smith went to.
Arthur Smith went. Yeah, so we went for a patch of having good coaches, but obviously the risk is if you do well, they're going to get hired for other roles. So, but we just need that year. If we can get a really, really, really good offensive coordinator in for a year, if that could just boost the wide receivers up, we get some nice play calling done, play schemes done, gets like Cam believing in himself. I know he probably already believes himself really highly, but obviously as a QB you'd think so. But just get him the fundamentals going well. It'd be a great platform for him just to carry on with whoever else we get in. But I'd like the one thing I think is definitely needed is unless it goes spectacularly wrong, I think Salah needs 2 years minimum as a minimum. Even if we go 0 wins next year, actually, if we do go 0 wins, I'd probably expect a firing, to be fair. But I feel like we need to have some consistency, let someone grow into that role. Um, and just we got to ride it out. If we do badly, we just got to ride that storm, and we should hopefully come good. We can't expect miracles. We haven't got a great team going into next year at the moment, anyway. But a few key pieces, we might have a competitive team, but not. I just think we're a good 2 years away from being an AFC South Championship team that's going into the playoffs. Just need a few more key pieces to go, and we just need to give Salah time. As long as Amy stays away, because I feel like Amy's the problem. She's the emotional one. She's the one that took offence to what Vrabel said at his Patriots Day and then fired Vrabel. And if that hadn't have happened, she just went, okay, I didn't appreciate that, but you know what? Let's just roll with it. But let bygones be bygones. He would still be here. And people do say that he would have gone to Patriots anyway, but there's a lot of talk about
Well, the
from
thing is, he could have gone to the Patriots eventually after winning a Super Bowl at the Titans, and then all would have been forgiven because he would have achieved what we wanted. So, once if he'd won a Super Bowl with the Titans, then if he wanted to leave, who cares? Let him go because he'd give us what we're all desperate for. So yeah, like I say, Amy needed to kind of put out a little bit and just kind of, just let the players on the pitch do the talking with Vrabel there, isn't it?
Well, it always seemed with Vrabel that he was basically a defensive-minded head coach, and they wanted to go in a more offensive coordinator coach, and that's partly the reason I think they got rid of him. But then they've gone back to a defensive-minded coach. It's really gone full circle in just over 2 years. So.
It's that trouble in it. We just need something that does well, and if he can get our defense going, as they say, defense wins championships, offense wins games. So we just need to get some pieces on that defense, and I feel like we just need to build around Big Jeff. There's always talk about Big Jeff taking Sweat out to Dallas, I think, to do off season training camps. So there's them two have obviously built up a really good friendship and a like partnership where Jeff wants to coach him and wants to improve him so they can be a force. And if they get it right and Sweat does knuckle down, they could be a force. So I don't see it'd be good. And I have to say, with a defensive coach, you just need those pieces in place. I could really see us going definitely see us now going a defensive piece in the first round. And I would probably say an edge. I'd say it's probably going to be Bain. He had a really good game in that college final. And I would say if he doesn't go to the Cardinals before us, I think Bain's going to be that guy we take in the draft. For sure. Now with Salah in charge.
Yeah, I mean that would, although he's a defensive lineman, but him on one side, Simmons on the other, Sweat in the middle. You think that must be an improvement on what our defensive line wasn't that bad. So, and that should be better.
Yeah, definitely.
I was just looking online. Sorry, I was just seeing what people are saying about the draft, and yeah, someone's saying here that their selection for the fourth pick is Arvel Reese. and then Brandon Cisse, who's cornerback. Then like the wide receiver is going to be like the third pick. So yeah, so it looks like other people are saying defensive players are the ones we want to go for first, which I think, like you said before, defense wins championships and attack wins games. So it's kind of, it's getting that balance right. And I don't know, just it's hard being a Titans fan at the moment. Isn't it? It's like you said earlier, we've got to give him a couple of seasons. And I think if Callahan had been losing the games, like I've said all year, because I had no choice in saying it, there's a way to lose games. And if we were losing the games like we were under McCoy towards the end, you kind of thought, oh, well, at least they're giving it a go. You kind of have a bit of sympathy for them. And I think with Salah, if he does have a bad start, but we're losing because we were lucky, or we're losing because teams are slightly better than us and we're being outplayed and there's signs of improvement, you can live with it. But I think, yeah, Salah needs to come in and he's got to really make sure we're not getting blown away by teams. We're not getting played off the pitch completely. I mean, hopefully he comes in and we go on we get into the playoffs via the wild card and we end up scraping through and winning the Super Bowl in his first season, because that'd be brilliant. But obviously we have to be realistic and know that's most likely not going to happen. But again, it's just, like James said, we need some consistency now. We've got to get people through the door and we've got to let them bring their ideas in. But again, it's so difficult because sports are a passionate thing. Owners react to losses, fans react to losses, and when the fans aren't coming in, it's horrible thinking. This season coming up now is the last one at the current Nissan Stadium, and seeing the back end of the season where the stadium was empty, you think people from like the local area would be thinking, let's just go because there's not many games left there at Nissan Stadium. It'd be really sad next season to see that stadium empty as it goes towards the end. It'd be quite sad, wouldn't it? You want to see those seats filled in the final season there because they've been there since 1999. Well, no, 2001 was it they moved in there? So they've been there so long now, and it's a bit of history, isn't it?
I think they moved in 98.
Was 98 they moved in, was it?
Yeah,
So
because
like
I
you say,
think
they've
in
been.
that season they went to the Super Bowl was the first time they lost at home. They had about 18 wins in a row. Well, no, what 18
I
wins,
thought,
sorry. Whatever it was.
but like you say, it'd be real sad if we end up having this kind of losing streak again. So we're not going to have it next season because I think Salah's going to come in and I think he's going to get those players. I mean, you've seen the players online; they've been kind of quite happy about it as well, haven't they? They seem quite chuffed that he's come in. So that's. But when Callahan came in, I don't think I recall seeing the players kind of like getting really excited about it. So the fact the players seem excited, they're either doing that because they want to impress to get into the team, which obviously some players don't need to do that because they're too good already, or they are genuinely excited, which hopefully that's the case, and they really want to play for him. Do you guys think the players seem quite keen to play for him? Do you think they're quite happy to kind of see him on board?
I think all players like certainty. No one's going to turn around and come out and say this is the wrong person unless they want to be shipped out to another team. So they're bound to come out and be positive. Otherwise, as I say, they'll get shipped out to another team or not play.
I think the thing I did like was obviously players are going to be a bit hyped up, and I know there's an article I shared in the group this week, and it was about that Big Jeff was sent around teams to speak to players that had connections with Salah to get inside information about what he's like. Um, and so obviously if you get told what something to do, you go and do it. But a player like that going to try and find inside information kind of shows that he's on board, and is wanting him to be there, which I think is key. There was a story that I think Sweat put up on his Instagram, and it's not just a generic of like share the post and go, yep, that's it, cool, let's roll on next year. Sweat actually shared the story of Salah and the Jags head coach getting into an argument on the pitch, and was like, and for me that's selling it because I'm like, that's one, a rival, so you're already winning points with the fans, you're siding with your new head coach, but you could have just said, oh yeah, let's go, but he didn't. He shared just an actual argument between the two players and went, this is going to be great or something, and that to me is just like, I love that. I'm like, it
Yeah,
just shows he's hyped up for
I
it.
don't think we'll repeat what he said to him, because I think what he said to him was a little bit aggressive and a bit rude, wasn't it? He was very hyped up, wasn't he? He was trying to get his point across, and I think he did get there with his point. I think there were maybe an F-bomb dropped in there at one point. Yeah, he was very. But that's good to see. That you don't think most people, even Callahan, you'd like to think behind closed doors are quite passionate, but when you see it on the pitch, he gets the fans on board. And let's say it was against the Jags as well. So when he plays against the Jags, I guess there's going to be a kind of. It's going to be the clip that's going to be shared constantly. It was going to rile them up as well and get the fans excited and get everyone kind of like really up for it. But it's good to see the players are sharing that kind of information, and they're looking into it, or I guess they're human like us. They see something, they get excited, they share it. So it's good. It's good that they're doing that, and it's good that they're getting on board. Just obviously, everyone's excited about Cam Ward. Do we think he'll bring in an experienced quarterback to play alongside Cam to kind of get him going, or do you think we'll stick with Allen again? Do you think Salah might use some of his contacts to get something else in?
Alan won't be here again, I don't think. I mean, it depends partly what they're going to do with Levis, whether or not
Well,
they're
yeah, I
going
forgot
to.
about Levis. Yeah,
Oh yeah, whether they're going,
he's
whether
there
he's going
somewhere,
to
isn't he?
be good enough to make the squad or not.
Right, you have to excuse me a second. I'm full of a
I'm not
cold.
sure whether they'll bring in someone just yet.
I'm sorry.
I think they might leave it a bit to decide what they're going to do. It seems a bit of a premature thing. And to be honest, there's far more positions they need to spend their money on than getting a decent reserve quarterback at the moment.
I think they did
Yeah, I mean,
say
I was
something
thinking more of just
about.
having somebody experienced, though, kind of just to kind of play off him a little bit. I wouldn't, I'm not thinking somebody expensive, but just somebody who could teach him things, and actually, if called upon, could actually get into the game, which Alan proved at the end of last season. He wasn't that good. Sorry, James.
No, as I say, I think that comes down to you want it's more focusing on the coaching.
Oh,
I do see the side of having a. It would work if we got Cam in, say, the third round, and we needed an experienced QB and then sit Cam for a year. But Cam's
just is
is a
available.
he's a starter, so he's already started, so you don't need anyone really to be that experienced figure to him. So you're more looking at the coaching. I think Borgers only said about that Levis will still be on the team unless he's traded. I think a lot of it depends down to the pre-season and how well Levis performs in pre-season, whether we trade or whether we stick with him. Um, but I think Dave said, I think we got far more important things to think about before we get to that situation. I definitely think it's more about the offensive coordinator key. That is the main point we need is to sort that offensive coordinator position out. And then QB coach. I'd really like to see Wilson and Bones come back. I don't have an issue with either of those two coaches. If Bones he has to come back. There's a podcast about today. It came out today or yesterday. Busting with the Boys with Taylor Lewin. Love Taylor Lewin, big man. Um, and he did. It's a podcast with Jeffrey Simmons. It's really interesting. I only went halfway through it, so I don't know the whole ins and out. But he literally loves Bones. They say he really wants Bones to come back, and he's a big fan of Wilson as well. Um, but it's a very good insight to see the difference between Vrabel and Callahan. He goes into quite detail about the differences between the two, with actually quite good respect for both men as well. So, not don't want to plug another podcast, but it's a good listen to when you can
I
hear
thought
it
I saw
from.
something that Bones was going to come back, but I could be wrong. I thought I saw something that they said he was probably going to be coming back.
That would be good. That'd be such a
Hmm.
good acquisition because people. Jeff in that says he's ready. He basically thinks he should be a head coach.
Hmm.
So, and he was a head coach at, what was it, the Rams, I think, after Fisher left, I think, the Rams, before they got McVay. And he had a little role there. But yeah, if we can get Wilson back and um and get Bones back, Wilson might be a bit tough because obviously With Harbour going to Giants, he might go over there.
Did
I'm
you think
not
we had a
sure.
chance to get Harbour, by the way? Do we,
Apparently we
when,
were.
when we had
Apparently
that
we had
potential opportunity?
we had him in the crosshairs basically. I mean, it's all rumours, isn't it? It's all rumours, but people just made the jump before us, so we just
Although
felt
if
like
Salah is going to call the defensive plays, does it really matter so much about the defensive coordinator? You know, he's going if he's going to be calling the plays, he's probably going to have put a lot of input into designing what plays the scene they come up with. So maybe he's going to want someone who he can mold rather than someone who's set in their ways about what they want to
yeah,
do.
that's a fair point. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, unless you
yes,
bring somebody in who's got the same mindset as him,
Mm.
and they kind of
Yeah.
because he's going to be juggling the head coach and the defensive coaching. Is it going to be? I know. Did Vrabel do both? I think he did, didn't he? Oh, I know he's quite hands on, wasn't he?
he
I
was
don't think he
defensive
called them though,
coach.
did he?
I
Apart
think he
from
was.
I can't remember.
I think
when
he
he was
was
in a certain
defensive coach.
situation, he'd say, "No, we need to go for this" or whatever. But I don't think he, on the whole, he called many plays.
It'd be interesting to see how it works, the dynamics of it. I say I just think we just need to get this offensive coordinator sorted and then build from there. Um,
Well, that's it. If we get a good defensive coordinator, it will again help attract the better players as well. Because you say just players like certain coaches, and if you get the right guy in, then he'll have the contacts to bring hopefully the better players in, the ones that you may not get before. Knowing our look, we'll drag it out and we'll end up with somebody dreadful in the end. But we need to get somebody in who's kind of experienced, again, well liked, like Salah is, and we can work on that. And it will just people need to use their contacts to get those better players because I mean, wide receiver. Last few years, it's been dreadful, hasn't it? We keep bringing players in, towards the end of their career, and they're just not doing it for us. Like Ridley, for example. I thought he'd come in and do quite well. He's been horrendous, hasn't he? Really. We need to sort like the wide receiver out. We need to sort everything out going forward, as well as everything going. There's so much to sort out in there. It's an absolute mess at the times, isn't it?
Well,
it'd be
I mean, but they've got a lot of money to spend, but they certainly need to pick up four players who are probably going to start. Wide receiver, probably an extra line, outside linebacker, a cornerback, and somewhere else. And then obviously a certain amount of players in the draft, probably a wide receiver, cornerback, and uh, an edge rusher, stroke line, defensive lineman. So, in the first few rounds, and you expect them to all start.
yeah, we've got to get players that are ready to start. Because obviously we're going to be like relying a lot on rookies again,
Hmm.
which is no problem. I'd rather have a team full of rookies because we've got a young team, which means these players are going to grow and they're going to grow. They're going to play well together rather than this constant change round of players that are going to come in and maybe look for somewhere else. You get the players like the Tony Pollard that might just bounce from team to team, um, like Ridley's and whatnot. But it'd be one thing I've actually just thought about. It'd be interesting to see how well if Salah can develop Femi a bit more. Obviously, it's a player we didn't see much
Hmm.
of, but players like Femi, Winston, Harris, we did pick up a couple of players in the draft, defensive players. So it'd be interesting to see how, and you'd like to think they can maybe take the next step on with under Salah's guidance and leadership. Towards the end of the season, the 49ers were playing with pretty much a practice squad team on their defense, and he was still making. I know the Seahawks game was a bit of a blowout, but he was still getting those defensive players to play really well. So it could be promising for those young rookies that we have got on the defense. If they can step up and learn from him, it'd be really good.
You just mentioned Parlour then for a second. I know there was a post I posted the other day on the Facebook group about whether we should cut him or not. Because I think if we cut him by June, the June deadline, we'll save like $7 million or something. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think we'll look to move on from Parlour? I mean, he came good at the back end of the season, so he was quite surprised in the end after the poor start he had in the poor team. Do you think he'll be given another opportunity, another year at the Titans?
I think he should. I mean, for 7 million you save, are you going to get anyone near the quality of Pollard? I don't think so. I mean,
No.
I mean, you'd say if he was slowing down, but he had his best part of the season in the last 4, 5 games, which doesn't see he's slowing down. And he's only in his eighth year. He's going to be starting next year, so he's
Yeah.
not at the end. So I think you keep him. It's perfectly well getting a second back in there, but it was maybe a more of a bruiser back as on a 1 year deal. But I don't think we should be looking to get someone to replace him and look for someone maybe next year.
Well, I was looking at the players that have got relationships with Salah, and there's Brees Hall, who's a free agent, um, and he's going to be definitely one of those. He's one of those running backs. There's a lot more physical running back, which we could potentially bring in and have a 1-2 with Pollard and Brees Hall. That would be pretty a good one. They've got a and Hall could be quite cheap. Um,
Hmm.
Being that he's come off a quite a bad injury. He seemed to be getting better towards the end of the season last year. He's still relatively young. Um, so that could be a potential. If we were to move on from Pollard, I'd like to see us get a good running back, someone like a Brees Hall, maybe trade for a Montgomery, someone that is a power back. But then again, it's all dependent on what Mullins is like. We got him, and he's supposed to be a power back. I know you're expecting a lot from a seventh. Was he a seventh round pick? Sixth, seventh round pick?
He was a late pick, wasn't he?
Yeah. So you're expecting a lot. They are kind of it's a 50-50 where it's going to work. But if it was down to me, I'd quite happy. I'll be very happy to go with if the money aligned properly, and a dream scenario would go Spears, Pollard, and a Brees Hall combo. You've got a power back, you've got a more elusive back, and you've got a third down back or receiving back. Um, and you think with Spears, you kind of got to manage him now. He does pick up injuries. Um, so you just got to manage these players, and I think we go all right. Be nice. It'd be nice to have someone like Brees Hall. Obviously we missed Henry. Maybe we get Henry back.
Ah, you
But
never know. You never know.
well, I did hear that Kevin Byard's a free agent this year.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
How old is he
bring
now?
it
Is he
back to
about
Middle
30,
Tennessee.
31? But
He
nice on a
led,
1 year deal, wouldn't it?
led the league in interception.
Well, I think he wants to
last
stay
year.
with the Bears, doesn't he?
Oh, does he? I don't know.
Hmm.
Whatever happens, if they don't want to keep him, they don't want to keep him. But if they don't want to keep him, I would happily take him back on a.
I'd say I happily take him back. Right, we're down to the last 90 seconds, guys. So once again, thanks for joining me. Hopefully, we'll see the official announcement soon from the Titans that Salah has signed his 5 year contract. I'm sure they're just sorting out all the legal things and all the money, which probably is a lot more difficult these days compared to years ago. Obviously, anyone who's watched the video, our millions of fans as usual, come along, join us on Facebook, especially with James, because he gets quite vocal at the moment, gets very angry with the Titans, dragging their feet with the head coach search. Twitter, TikTok, find us at X, we call it these days, find us at everything there. So, guys, thanks for joining once more. Obviously, I'm sure we'll probably end up talking in about an hour's time, because I'm sure the Titans will make some silly announcement or something's going to happen, or another offensive coach will be off the board, and we'll be looking to the next option. So, thanks for joining me, guys. It's been a pleasure as always, and hopefully we'll get some news and we can meet up again soon.
Thank you very much. See you
Yeah.
later.
Nice one. Cool. Cheers, guys.
Uh,